I was shocked when I saw him lying in the hospital, already on life support. There he was, helpless. And I laid my head on his chest and cried. I couldn't believe this was happening. He was in this situation because of senseless hazing. This is a testimony of a woman who lost her son due to hazing in college. Although illegal in every state but 6, hazing is still a widespread occurrence in colleges everywhere and should be prevented because it is detrimental to everyone involved. So what is hazing? Hazing is where someone is asked or forced to perform acts to be accepted into extracurricular clubs, sororities, or fraternities. It will hurt people physically along with emotionally and isolate college students everywhere from their communities. These physical harms include, but are not limited to, the over-excessive drinking of alcohol. Alan Elizabeth, who has a PhD and writes papers and articles about students at risk, states 82% of deaths involve alcohol. 82% of these hazing deaths involve alcohol. The students who partake in these hazing events and get super drunk, especially girls, are at risk for being overly vulnerable and at risk to be sexually taken advantage of, or worse, alcohol poisoned. As well as this physical harm of drinking alcohol, they're also susceptible to physical abuse. This physical abuse can involve the person who is part of the hazing requirements or other people and innocent bystanders. Michelle Corson, a writer for a newspaper, sheds light on the hazing experience for a student named Lavery. Lavery, trying to get into his fraternity, was partaking in hazing. He was asked to beat up an innocent bystander. This left Lavery's face beaten in and tubes through his nostrils in the hospital, fighting for his life. As well as this alcohol abuse and physical abuse, hazing can include harm to animals, as well as the people involved, other people. And not only that, but this physical abuse can look in forms of branding, beatings, over water intoxication, and anything that you can think of or that a college student can think of. As well as harming physically, the psychological damage of hazing is one that should not be ignored. Depression is one of the main side effects of hazing, because if you take college students, think about all the trauma they are already coming into. Add hazing on top of that, there's no telling what could re-trigger someone and re-traumatize someone with these events. Public nudity and humiliation also will cause this depression from hazing. A Pornhub site has public humiliating hazees who participated in this hazing process. Their bodies are plastered everywhere for the public to see without usually consent. As well as depression, suicide is also a side effect of hazing and is another thing that should not be ignored. Nebraska Lincoln student kills himself after being forced to stand nude and pee on fraternity brothers who were not wanting to participate in the hazing process. This is from a lawsuit article. Travis, another student, from the article of Hazing and Suicide Risk, states, "With a gun to his head, I will die for this fraternity." Many college students have no idea what are triggers for people who are part of this hazing process. Therefore, anything can happen and the risks are too much for one person to bear. The side effects also can include PTSD, eating and sleeping disorders, along with other countless things that leave long-lasting effects. Hazing also causes one to be in isolation. An article called Hazing Statistics states 36 students say they would not report because there was no one to tell. 27% of students avoid telling adults because they fear as if there's nothing they can do. Usually, the people keep hazing a secret, and secrecy is vital to the hazing process because it is illegal. So you have these college students who want so desperately to be included, but actually give a ticket straight to isolation. They're fearful of harm to themselves and shame for what may happen if they are kicked out of these fraternities or sororities or clubs that they so desperately want to be a part of. 9 out of 10 college students are hazed. Although illegal in every state but 6, hazing is still a widespread occurrence in colleges everywhere and should be prevented because it is extremely detrimental to anyone involved. Sororities in the college experience is supposed to be welcoming. Hazing says it's welcoming and they welcome you in, but really all they are doing in the hazing process is causing psychological damage as well as physical damage and isolating ones from a community that they so desperately desire.